Everyone. Today's tutorial, I think we're just going to keep it pretty simple and just mess around with some boxes and a sphere. So let's jump right into Grasshopper and we'll just type in sphere and I'll give it a radius of, let's do 10 for now. Alright, and from here what I want to do is populate geo, so we'll give it some points. And I'm going to give it a pretty large number, like 3,000. So this might take a little bit of time to load up. There we go. Alright, and then from here, what I want to do next is from the bottom of it to the top, I want it to be kind of a gradient and kind of disappear. So to do that, we need to deconstruct each one of the points. So we have the z and the height of each one of those points. And then from here, we need to find the bounds. So type in bounds. Oop. So the minimum and the maximum. Okay, and then to give it kind of a gradient, we need to type in random. And we need a number. So we have 1,000 points, so we have 3,000 different z values. All right, and then we need to remap each one of these numbers, so we give it kind of a range there. So we'll remap the numbers just like so. This will be our source, the minimum and maximum. Okay, and then the value that we want to remap. Okay, and then we want to make sure, I think it's smaller. That should bring it from the bottom to the top. Otherwise we can just switch out these numbers here. And then we need to call out the ones at the top, so we'll use a call pattern. We'll plug that directly into the points, and then we'll plug it into the left end. You'll start to see that we're getting kind of a gradient. So from the bottom it's going to be way more dense, and at the top it starts to dissipate. Okay, so I'm just going to hide all these for now. Alright, and then from here we're just going to cover it with boxes. So just type in box there. We're going to use a center box. Alright, and then I'm going to make them, what's that look like? Pretty crazy looking. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Well, anyway, I think I want to do kind of like really thin ones that are rotated. Some of them are rotated and some of them aren't. So we'll get kind of this kind of weird back and forth patterning starting to happen. So I'm going to make it relatively small in the z direction, just like that, and then we'll make it larger in the xy, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to use my dispatch command here to separate them out into list. Okay, and so for one of the one list, we're just going to leave it the same, and then the other one I want to just rotate it in the YZ plane. Alright, and we're just going to do it 90 degrees. We'll need to change the angle from radians to degrees. Okay, I'm just going to get these a little bit organized. Yes. I like things kind of lined up there. Alright, so let's bake that out and see what it's starting to look like. That's looking pretty cool. Looks like our rotations are kind of weird. So let's go back. I'm going to undo. And, oh, we didn't add a volume in which it rotates around. Okay, so let's do that. Plug it into the plane there. I'm just going to hide everything else. There we go. This should start to look a little bit better. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. Alright. Let's try to make maybe a hair smaller. So right now it's at 2. Let's try 0.75 or somewhere around there. Okay, There we go. That's starting to look much better. Much, much better. I like it. I might make them just a hair thicker in the Z direction. So maybe instead of 0.5, we go a little bit wider. I'll just bring it up to point. Get some more volume in there. There we go. It's starting to look pretty cool. Kind of like a maze in 3D. I'll bring it just a bit lower. Let's see. Alright, that's looking pretty cool. And then, just so we can apply some materials to everything, what I want to do is we're going to make the vertical, or the more vertical rectangles, we're going to make the outside strip. Some of them will be lights, and then on the flat portions, I want to make the top grass, just for rendering. So what we need to do is just type in deconstruct with the brep. Where is it? It's not popping up. Let's see, right there. So this one, we're just gonna list out each one of the faces. So we use a list item. Okay, so that's the bottom. Should be side, side. And I'm just gonna join all those together. Okay, and I don't want every single one to be a light material, so I'm just gonna random split list it. Let's type in brep and then we can group them right after. Excellent. Alright, looking good. Then we're going to do the same thing for the other brep here. Take this, and I'm not quite sure where we're sitting with this one. I'm going to just turn this off for now. Okay. And this looks like it's the side. Looks like it's all sides. Okay, so that's good. Same thing as the other. And is that giving us the top or the bottom? Looks like the bottom, so we can join all those together. And the last one, we're just going to bring up a brep again. Okay, and that'll be our last, which is the top, and that's going to be our grass. Alright, so now we can just pretty much start baking all these out. Okay, so we'll go with this one. I don't know what the materials are going to be necessarily right now, so we'll just do kind of random stuff. Like this one will be concrete for now. Okay, then the tops we're going to leave as grass. Okay. I'm going to go back to shaded. Alright, and then the random split list. This half, that looks like a lot of lights. What I might do is actually split list the top list one more time. We might need to flatten that out. There we go. And what I'm going to do here, there we go. I just don't want too many lights kind of popping through the scene there. So we'll bake that out. Okay, we'll change that to lights. Great. Go back to our grasshopper here. Okay, and then the other one, we're just going to bake that out as well. And we'll just pick kind of a random material for here. I'm just going to call this, let's do dark. And we still need the inside planes. So what we can do is join these two together and we'll bake them out along with the rest. Actually, they won't even join because they're not even touching. Oop. There we go. let's just bake those out as well. Awesome. And I don't know, we can call this board form. Alright, so this should start looking pretty crazy once we get to the rendering process. And what I'm going to do is add in that sphere in the middle that we started off with. I'm just going to scale it down. We're going to make it kind of like a kind of an orb sitting in the center, so I'm going to call that glass. And then I'm going to just copy it, scale another one down. Okay, I'm going to call that one lights as well. So get kind of a glow coming out of the middle. Looking pretty cool. So let's pick a view, and then we can model our landscape for it. I think something like this is going to look pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to do what we normally do. Type in bounding box. Get it, so go back to shaded. We'll explode that out. I'm thinking this is kind of like a kind of an upshot, so I'm going to scale this out, and we might just do kind of a simple rock texture for it. We can do 55 and 55. Okay, we'll turn our points on there. And just in case we change our mind on the actual shot, I'm just going to outline around the actual model so it looks like it's kind of sitting on a hill. Alright, and then we'll do this. Just like that. We're just going to pull it down. And I'm going to really smooth it. So we get kind of a nice gradual hill that it's sitting on. Okay. Not quite directly under it. Let's get it there. Awesome. And then what I want to do is we're going to add in some kind of detail to the rock here. So we'll just kind of trace out some kind of forms that are kind of emerging from the surface there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Because one thing we might do is actually mesh this all out, and then we'll get it to be looking a little bit more jagged. Okay, I'm just gonna pull those down for now. And let's mesh it. And then if we type in reduce mesh, we'll reduce by 55%. Wait for it. There we go. So that's looking pretty cool. And then what we can do is just literally select some faces on there. Doesn't matter where. And we'll pull them up in some areas, and we'll pull them. Try to just give a little bit extra detail to the landscape there. Awesome. I'm gonna bring this one down. Looking really cool. This looks just a bit too, I don't know, uniform. Cool. What happens if we smooth it out? Not too much. All right. And we'll change this to rock. And we are all set for Lumion. Alright, so it imported really quick. So we'll start adding materials. I'm gonna just do the rock really quick. Maybe we could make it kind of like maybe a snow scene, potentially. We're gonna scale up the map. That should look pretty cool. Bring up the relief as much as we can. I don't know what view we're gonna do yet, but we'll pick one here in a minute. Okay. And then for the actual model, I'm gonna make this a grass layer. Not leaves. Let's do wild grass. We can make it pretty big if we wanted to. Okay. Here, let's do various. I'm gonna do aged aluminum, and if it doesn't look good, we can always change it. Do aged again. Let's do aged iron, maybe. Okay. And let's see. For the dark area, I'm just gonna do maybe a highlight. Let's do some bronze for there. And then for the lights, we can choose any material we want. I'm gonna do stone. Do emissive. Awesome. Cool. And then that glass, I want it to be kind of milky in the middle there. So do kind of a frosted glass there. Awesome. All right, we'll save the changes. Let's go to the rendering before we add entourage into the scene here. I'm just going to store the camera. Let's do a dawn shot. Maybe we change out the sky. Might be a little too purple. That looks pretty good. And let's pick out our view. Okay. Where do we want to look? Probably with something with a few peaks in it of our landscape. Where's the good peaks at? I don't like it from that view. That view's okay. Let's do it here. Okay, we're going to do kind of an looking shot, so I'm going to bring out the focal length. Maybe something like that. Actually, that looks pretty cool. What happens if we bring this down? Yeah, so that's looking really nice. I'm going to save that shot. Okay, let's get our sky so it looks... Maybe we already had it, but... Cool. And then I'm going to add some snow. Yeah, the snow doesn't look that great. Okay, I don't want the extra fog necessarily because we want to be able to see the model. Maybe this isn't our shot actually because we don't see any grass, but let's just keep playing. Not a big deal. Let's add in a sun. I'm gonna bring it really low. Maybe a little bit higher. Get some nice kind of highlights in there. Very cool. Let's see if we can get... I don't know if we're going to be able to add any people to this scene. I want to avoid kind of those sharp tip rocks in there. I probably should have smoothed that out in Rhino, but too late. Let's see what it looks like all the way around. Maybe there's a shot in here that we don't potentially see right now. We'll find it. It's definitely from over here, I think. No big deal if the grass doesn't work out, so that's why we just kind of sketching. Right there might look cool. Change the sun a bit. That kind of looks... Maybe go back to where we were. Which I think was right in here. Let's do our original shot, maybe. I think that's pretty cool the way it is. Maybe we'll give it a big old zoom in. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to save that camera. After we bring the focal length out real quick. Gets too big. Bring it back down. That gets too small. I think what we had was the one. And we're going to mess with some materials, that's for sure. And yeah, I kind of like it. I wish this would go down just a hair, though. Let's just move the camera. That's the shot. All right. Store it. Probably could put some people out on this little peak here. That could look pretty good. Let's change up the materials just a bit. Okay. This, I want to really bring up the weathering. Where is it? Weathering. We're going to bring that up quite a bit. It's a little bit too shiny for me. And then for the aged iron, let's see if we can get some foliage happening on there. So the ground plane, to bring the spread up and the leaf size. Maybe the ground plane might not even work. Actually, the scale might be too big, so maybe it won't work with this particular model. So never mind on that. All right. So let's click OK. Let's try the rendered again. So the age iron looks much, much better. I like that a lot more. And then let's turn up the scale of these just a bit. Looks a little bit too repetitive. Back. Much better. All right, cool. I think that's kind of what we're looking for. I like the lights, so that's looking pretty sweet. Let's see if we can get Maybe the sun coming directly behind us. Bring it up just a bit. Okay, so that's right there. Sun in front is not good. Sun in back is not good. Let's bring it right behind us. I'm trying to get it just a hair brighter. Specifically in those areas. That looks pretty good, pretty good. I'm gonna bring it down just a bit. And we get some nice highlights on the ridges there. Okay, and then let's go back to the precipitation and the particle size. We're gonna bring that up. And what happens with our snow now? It's looking better. Excellent. And honestly, I don't know if we need any trees necessarily, so let's just add some people, and I think we'll be pretty much done. All right, let's find somebody in a coat. Maybe they're walking up to it. Bring the scale of him just a bit taller so we can actually see him. What if we got a female in a coat? That looks good to me. Gotta rotate it. See if they're actually in the shot, which I think they are. Yep. Looking good, looking good. Okay. You know what, let's add maybe some rocks right through here, just to give it a little bit of kind of contrast against the jagged nature to that mesh that we created. So we don't want any green. Or if they got some kind of large, kind of more darker rock, this might work. Yes. So what I'm going to do is actually place a bunch of these, and then we're just going to lower them. Doesn't match the actual material map though all that well. A little too dark. Any others? Yeah, we'll go back to what we had. This may work. Alright. So I'm going to just place a few, just in particular areas. Okay, like I said, we'll select them all, and then we'll just move them straight down. This may or may not look good. It's hard to tell right at the moment. Can't see him. Let's try that again. Okay, we'll lift them up. I think this will look pretty good. There we go. So you can kind of see them in there. Wonder if we can move them horizontally. here, just so they're a bit more in the scene. There we go. Starting to get there. Alright, and what I might do is just add some kind of foggy areas in here. Just to make it kind of look like you're up in the clouds. Bring that way up. Do a cluster. See what that looks like. Hopefully not horrendous. Oh, that's pretty cool. Alright, I think that's gonna be it. Let's render her out. Yeah, it's looking good. We'll brighten some areas up in this, I think. Take it over to Photoshop after one more go. So I'm going to let's do the real skies, overall brightness. Let's bring that higher. And I think this is brightness of the sky, which we want to leave that where it was. Make it a little bit dark. That material map is maybe just a bit too dark for me. That's aged iron. Let's make it a little bit brighter. Can't really tell what it is. It's fine. Let's just render it out. Do 76. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I think we'll take it over to Photoshop now. Alright, so we're just going to use the berm tool to kind of lighten up some areas, like through here. Alright, so that's looking pretty cool. Going to brighten up kind of where the sun was hitting on some highlights there. If we do it over the light material, it'll kind of bump up the diffusion for each one of those. And then let's go to image, see what auto tone does. Nothing. I kind of liked what it was before. Then auto contrast. I think that's pretty good. Then we'll just add vignetting. Brush. So thanks for watching this, and you guys have been posting some really great stuff on Instagram. Really happy to see it. So keep tagging me in them. Really like to see what you guys are up to. And definitely tell your friends to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to or follow me on Instagram. Really appreciate the audience. And I think we're all finished with this project for today. So thanks for watching, and we'll be talking soon.